if we take them and put them aside, they're going to find another place to talk. And it's going to be somewhere hidden,
Right.
somewhere where they can't be challenged.
Totally.
And they're going to become even more what we would call radicalized, right?
Totally.
All right, let's roll. Molly, what do you got for in the news today?
Oh, what do I got for the news today?
Yeah, what do you got today?
Okay, what I got in the news is fucked up shit. Some fucked up shit. So what I have is
So Molly's been doing some research.
Yep, I've
You
been
got
doing
it.
some
It looks.
research.
What are you on? ResearchGate.net. What's this?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
this
on,
like some
I'm on a
underground
bunch of ResearchGate.net. I have various things going up here. But what's come to my, well, we've been having dinner table discussions every night with our 14-year-old son. And last night he was like...
He doesn't want to talk about it.
No, he doesn't. He was like, we're talking about hate speech again. So this is why it came up. So today I wanted to delve in to get, our opinions out there, as well as to see how Adam...
about hate speech.
Yeah, about hate speech. Like what that... So for me, what got my hackles up, I don't know if it got my hackles up, but it got me kind of... I don't even know the word to describe what I was feeling, but I was just, YouTubing as usual. And I found a commentary from New Zealand I'm going to pull this up right now. It was a YouTube. It was great. It was regarding David Seymour. David Seymour has been giving a lot of freedom of expression speeches and hate speech. He's been talking about it a lot.
Wait, who's David Seymour?
David Seymour is
married?
the leader of the ACT, which I assume is a government organization like...
ACT. What's that?
ACT? Hold on.
Come on, man. You're going down rabbit hole. Who is this guy, dude?
Okay.
I think he's married to Stephanie Seymour.
No. We're talking New Zealand. No, New Zealand. He's the ACT leader. So he's going against... I'll have to Google it. Give me a second.
You don't even know what it is. Come on. No, we're not going to... we're not sitting here while you Google who he is. Is this a political leader?
David Breen Seymour is a politician. Excuse me. I knew he was a politician.
So the ACT
I don't know
is like a political party.
Yeah, it's a political party. I just don't know
like
which side.
the Republican Party or the Democrat Party.
Exactly, but I don't like to go there because I'm not either. So it's not important to me. It's the fact of what's going on. He's getting a lot of hell for it. I mean, he's getting a lot of crap. And
for what? Tell us the story.
Okay, the story is this.
So we're on your iPad now. We're seeing what's
okay.
going on. So you're leading us through this story. What's the top of the story? What's it say?
Okay, the top of the story is that this is just based off of a YouTube video I was watching the other day. But it got me, like, I don't want to say, like I said again, like hackles up, because it was like, he fears for freedom of expression as Jacinda Ardern plans to beef up hate speech laws.
Now that's the president of, or the prime minister of New Zealand?
I believe so. Again. Again.
So we're just...
A politician, basically.
Let's just... If you don't even know who the people are...
Another politician. What it matters is, this is my train of thought. Your train of thought is linear. Mine is all over the place, as we both know. So mine's all over the place. I mean, you want to look at my screenshots?
Somebody in New Zealand's trying to limit speech. Somebody.
Yes.
And somebody else is upset about it.
It's more to that. It's more to that. It got into the whole... A bunch of things that I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, which nobody will like. However, for me, it was just this, that, I mean, it's fine. I get it. Everyone can agree to disagree, but he just had a comment about it affecting our freedom, or their freedom in New Zealand. Okay. Because I believe, like you said, the prime minister, this isn't 2019, okay? It's an older one, but the video was better, the YouTube video. Go look it up. It's about his hate speech. He went on a rant in 2019 about it.
Wait, this is 2019 you're breaking against this? Come on, dude. We have things happening today. You're bringing us a story from a year and a half ago?
Yeah, and the reason why is because what just happened in the capital of the United States. Okay, that's the reason why. So it sends me down this rabbit hole of seeing conversations that have been going on for many years, obviously. But I liked his perspective, and you're not letting me. The perspective is, it's just that simple. He's saying he doesn't see why there should be,
Why don't you read us the quote there? So I see, I just think in a modern New Zealand, everyone would agree that no one should be discriminated against for their religion. And so it makes sense that we add this to our other suite of things we say. It's just not okay to discriminate people.
Okay, now that's Ardent, right? That's Ardent. That's Prime Minister back then. I don't know who is now. I'll be better at this next time.
I think we all agree, right? People should not be discriminated against. I mean, I don't know who is fighting for being able to discriminate against people.
Well, Well, I'm scrolling to look for it, but the thing that he's really, he was fighting for back then is that, let the freaks come out. I'm going to say it in my way, not his way. Obviously, he's a politician. I'm not.
Is that a direct quote?
No, it's not a direct quote.
I'm sure we got a quote in the article, right?
Okay. Well, what he means, what I understood him to say is you can't, the world is not going to ever be perfect. We're not all going to agree on everything, but we need to be able to agree to disagree. And there's going to be bullying. There's going to be nastiness. There's going to be a lot of horrifying things that come out of people's mouth and groups and whatnot. But like he said, does he believe in any of these hate? A lot of this stuff is toxic, hate speech. It's not to transgender, to other races, to other cultures, whatever. But if we close that off, if we regulate that, if we start beginning to regulate and create laws that shut people down from freedom of speech, we're not going to be able to have a dialogue and let the freaks come out. And when I say let the freaks come out, if the KKK is on a rant, you can see the things coming out of these people's mouth, and you can, make your
heckle
own.
And mock them.
Heckle and mock them as a group, as a society. We can come out and have a valued opinion or make our own decisions. But when you shut that down, that's what I got my hackles up.
All right, so let's get what quote? Give us a quote from that article.
Okay, 1 second. There's a big difference between criticism and even sharing views that people wouldn't necessarily agree with. There's a very big difference between that and language, which is designed to try and incite harm against others. Seymour says it's subjective, highlighting the response Adam gave in her interview when asked what kind of speech would be targeted. So that's where it's coming down to where, who, how. How are we going to judge? Who's going to decide? What laws are going to be passed to shut down or to decide what is criminalized? Criminalizing speech. That's really what this is about, in my opinion.
I can't believe you found an article for 2019 to highlight this.
Yeah, I did. Well, the reason being is, just because last night we were on a phone call with a friend, and Adam doesn't even know this yet, but I got a text today from her, and she was like, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to let Adam know that I didn't realize that he was a Trump supporter. And so I'll never talk about politics again. And I was like, okay. So I wrote her back, and I'll call her later today, but I was just... emoji laugh, because I'm like, Adam's not Trump anything.
Not Trump supporter.
He's not a Trump supporter.
Free speech.
Exactly.
Supporter.
So we got into the free speech. So why don't you take over that conversation?
Well, I mean,
we were talking about
to tie this in with a more recent article, at least in the last few days. For me, it comes down to this idea of free speech on these social media platforms, which is really the big deal, right? Mm-hmm. For me, because I think these platforms, these social media platforms, are the modern day town square, right? So I believe Facebook and Twitter and Instagram are the places where we have these conversations, and if people are restricted from having the conversations on these town squares, they're basically not allowed to go to the town square. I mean, I don't know what you feel about that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Right.
I totally agree.
So I mean, if 150 million people, or 200 out of the 360 million Americans, 280 million of them are on Facebook. If you can't have a discussion on Facebook, you basically can't have a discussion, right? And so for me, that's where I stand. But the hilarious one that caught my eye was that China says it's been a victim after Twitter locked out its embassy account. Its embassy in the U.S. account got banned or got blocked momentarily from Twitter, which I think is the most hilarious thing ever, because China basically, I mean, at the end of the article, I think it says here, the Chinese are saying, we hope Twitter can uphold the principle of objectivity and impartiality.
Right.
It's like, what are you talking about, China? They literally don't even allow Twitter in China. It's like not even allowed in China. It's the most obvious, ridiculous.
It is.
For them to say, hey, we should be allowed to broadcast here on Twitter, which I believe they should be allowed. Let us see what China has to say on Twitter. and let us tear into it and rip it apart. You know?
Why don't we talk about how this came up a couple weeks ago? This whole hate speech came up because I think that's pivotal to the conversation today. Is we were sitting outside and we were having our coffee in the morning, and you were telling me about the banning of the Twitter account for Trump, as well as that other account I'm not familiar with, You Will Be, for the right wing. That it was another type of.
Well, I don't know.
Twitter.
They've been a lot of right wing people.
But Amazon did as well. There was another one.
Oh, you're talking about Parler. Yeah.
Parler, see.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter, he'll get into the details. I'm going to get into my way.
You're more high level.
I'm not high level. I just, if the subject comes up and we're talking about it, it doesn't have to be, it's all relative to me. So I'll go down every rabbit hole that's possible just because that's how I work. But you like to be more linear, so it will be perfect. Why don't you talk about that?
So linearly. The thing about Twitter and the judge refusing to reinstate Parler after Amazon shut it down, it's kind of two of these of the same thing, which as a society right now, we need to decide, like current law is that Twitter, Facebook, Google can take these down because they're private companies that have the right to control their own platform. So in the same way that when somebody walks into your shop to buy soap, you can say, get out of here, I don't like you.
Correct.
You're allowed to do that. They're allowed to do that right now. What I'm saying and what I'm proposing is no, they can't do that anymore.
Right.
Because what they've become is basically public utilities. They can't just pick and choose, yes,
right.
Because they're the public square right now. And so that's the kind of debate that's happening in our society right now, which is, can these companies which have become the public square actually regulate who speaks on the public square?
I don't think so, but I don't know who agrees or not. But why don't we just backtrack just a little second for those of you out there that are maybe a little bit like me, and Parler, what I understand, and Adam will correct him. Parler, right?
Parler. Yeah.
Parler is like the right-wing Twitter account, correct? Is that right? Okay. I didn't remember.
The right-wing Twitter account. It's like right-wing Twitter.
Did I get that right or not?
Well, what it is I think it's supposed to be it's an app where you can communicate with people in the same way that you can communicate on Twitter. So yeah, it's that in that way it's the same thing.
Okay. In my head it's the
same. But right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. Anybody, the whole point was that anybody could be on there, anybody could say anything on there.
Until now.
Until in a concentrated effort, it got taken down from the Google Play Store and the Apple iStore. So in those two, by both of them removing Parler from the apps, basically there's no way most average people can get it.
Right.
Right.
Which is
so they basically took it away from everybody.
Well, that you mentioned China. That's say no more. For me, I guess when we talk about these kind of things,
the difference is that in China doing that's the government of China saying no. Right. These are private companies saying no, which the reality is those two private companies, Apple and Google, have the right to do that.
Correct.
I think as a society, what we've come to is, though, look, these two are both monopolies. They're working together to control the market of the apps, which we all use. And at some point, the government's going to have to step in here because these two guys, you know me, I'm not a big brother kind of guy. I don't like governments coming in and doing things. But the reality is these two can completely control the market.
Right.
Like where else can you download your apps for your phone?
Exactly.
There is no other. There's none.
And that to me, when we started talking about this weeks ago, that to me was horrifying. I know you can say that that's
what was horrifying?
Exaggeratory. Hearing that, like I said, I'm not a Trump supporter. Call me whatever you want. I just like freedom of speech. I like freedom of speech. I like Adam just said, if someone comes into my store and I don't want them in there, it's my right to kick them out.
Get the
fuck out. But I don't, I'm not a mega corporation, and I don't run this show like Adam's saying. Amazon. We're talking about major players here that, like you're saying.
And remember, they were getting a lot of shit for actually allowing that stuff on their platforms, right?
And fine, you get a lot of shit, but you have to be able to be bullied. This sounds horrible and is probably not going to come out right, so forgive me. But this is just my personal opinion. And you can call it white privilege, white female privilege, whatever you want to call it. But for me, you have to be able to be bullied. What's that Chris Rock, that old Chris Fox?
Bullies do half the work.
Yeah, bullies do half the work. Seriously, like that's great. Honestly, if you haven't seen that, you have to go.
I would honestly say bullies do most of the work. I mean, what gets our society to change but bullying, right? To a degree.
To a degree, right?
What prevented your parents, my parents from stop smoking, right? It's their neighbors, their friends going, right. What are you doing?
Shaming.
You can't be. Yeah, it's shame.
I don't know if you can say, bullying, shaming. I mean, this can go down a whole nother path for another show, but because we're just going to try and focus on hate speech today. But hate speech is, in my opinion, a form of bullying. But that's why I think when I read that article and saw the video from 2019, it got me excited a little bit because I was like, this has been going on for a while, but trying to regulate and create laws that there are, like Adam's saying, the public forum, that is the public forum of today, these social media outlets. And when we're not allowing that public forum to go out, whether it be on a college campus or, on the street, sitting on your soapbox, yelling about Jesus, whatever you need to do, right? But that frightens me. And I know you like, why are you frightened? I'm frightened because it's freedom of speech.
Who's frightened?
Freedom of speech. Like, let us be
There's a lot of people who don't believe in freedom. I mean, a lot.
No,
obviously.
a lot. Like,
as long as you agree with them, they're fully on
that's
board.
it. Go down that. So let's go down that path because that is a whole.
Well, I think to follow up with this,
who defines it
with this Parler thing? If you think about what Parler did, what Amazon did, then to follow up on Google taking down the Parler app. And then Apple taking down the Parler app within a day of each other. And let's be clear, this all happened after it was clear that Biden was going to be sworn in, right? So they were kind of emboldened because I think if they did that before, they were scared, maybe rightly so. So they did it after they knew Biden was going to take power. And I mean, for our media and at least half of our population to go, oh yes, good, terrifies me. That actually terrifies me because for me, what it is if they can take down Trump, they can take down they could take down the then sitting president of the United States to not be able to use what is the public square to communicate with other people. Lord help us. I mean, good, like Trump or don't. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about Biden and Kamala, but to say that I want them silenced is insanity, right? Exactly. I want to be able to talk about their ideas and say their ideas are garbage.
And that's
stupid.
Exactly why I brought up the conversation with one of our dearest friends, because for her to react like that was shocking to me. I've known this person forever. So has Adam. We spend every Christmas together. I mean, it was shocking. Yes, we're
wait. Let's be clear what we were talking about. We were talking about the pipeline, right? We were talking about the Keystone Pipeline.
Correct, but we did mention hate speech, and we got into transgender, and we have all of those types of friends. It's not, but it just we went down a
rabbit hole.
We went down a rabbit hole, but
she didn't like my alternative opinion.
But it wasn't nothing. It was a conversation. For Adam and I, we love to argue. Like that's all. Majority of our marriage is arguing. We've been together a long time, and we worked together a long time. So for us, part of our way of handling and working with each other and talking to each other is debate all the time. We actually have a family night dinner table where we roast each other, and I always lose because I'm not sharp and quick. I can't figure out they're just way faster than me. But I mean, it is a form of bullying, and some people are like, that's sick. I'm like, it's actually encouraged my teenage son when he was in his 12, 13, the early years like there, to have more self-confidence and be able to handle when people, say shit aggressively. I don't know how else to say that.
Well, I mean, let's focus it down to what it was, which was okay. The thing that got really, I guess, heated was the idea of like that Trump had okayed the Keystone Pipeline and Biden just revoked the Keystone Pipeline, right? So that was the kind of thing that set her off. She was so happy because she's an environmentalist. Good for her.
Environmentalist. And
First
amazing.
Of all, who isn't an environmentalist?
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Like, who does it? Who wants dolphins to be slaughtered?
Nobody.
Raise your hands, please. I mean, is anybody against this? Who's against it?
No one.
But
I think, but we did get on the hate speech. I mean, that was a small point of it that got her hackles up, but we really focused on the hate speech still. And it was just, I mean, this is somebody we love and care about. And for her to receive the text, I guess, was like, holy cow. Wow. Like, this is exactly what I knew Adam and I were going to be talking about today, is she feels obligated as family member, more or less, to apologize via text about her opinion, and then promising, I'm sorry, I'm tearing up a little. Are you gonna
cry on the first show, dude?
I'm going to cry on the first show because like, how could you, like, how could she feel?
Well, the reality is why?
Why did she feel that way? Why
is it so
yes
so against our personal feelings? Like, it hurts us so much if somebody just has a differing opinion.
Why?
Like, I totally get her idea. Like, I get not wanting the Keystone Pipeline. I get not wanting to use oil at all. Like, I totally get that. Why do we need to drill at all? But then my other part of my brain goes, oh, well, because we still use cars. We still need to get around. We still need electricity. And I'd like to use all this stuff. But I see her side of the argument. Like, I don't want fossil fuels anymore. I agree. But I also understand that if we don't get it from there, and our friends who are Canadian and get it from the Canadians, we're probably going to end up getting it from the Saudis. And I'd prefer to get it from the Canadians. I don't know. I see there are two sides of the argument.
Of course you do.
But I'm not so... what is it about her that if I'm on the other side of that argument, like, she would prefer as a friend to just not even talk about it?
That's what I'm trying to talk about now. Because again, we're going back. I want to keep it focused on the hate speech and freedom of speech. And when your closest friends and family feel that they cannot have agree to disagree, that's wrong. And so that's when you say terrifying, when you're shutting down an application that millions of people utilize to agree to disagree. Like, that's freedom of speech, and that is terrifying. When you are starting to, when that, our government or whoever, society as a whole, okay, we have a right as a group to fight and agree and disagree with what we want. But when you stop that ability to actually debate in a public setting and bully and put down, I don't care. Like I guess the whole reason, back to Seymour again, is let the freaks come out. I really resonated with that, because I was like, you're damn Skippy, let the freaks come out. Like, if the freaks don't come out, if you let the KKK and all, whoever, whether, whoever you are, whatever you are, if we let these psychopaths, again, who defines psychopath, whatever, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. If we allow them to be buried and, get in their coven and whatever they do.
No, I agree. I think what you're saying to put it in a box.
Yeah, please do,
is
sweetie.
to say, if we take them and put them aside, they're going to find another place to talk. And it's going to be somewhere hidden, somewhere where they can't be challenged.
Totally.
And they're going to become even more what we would call radicalized, right?
Totally.
Better, what you're saying, I think, is if, let's take one example that most of us can agree with. Most, not all, we have friends who believe the other side of this argument. Flat earthers, right? Right? So we have
flat earth. Some of our family, our closest friends.
Okay, so we have some flat earth friends, maybe one.
Sorry.
But to say...
I can't stop laughing. Okay, hold on.
If they were kicked off of YouTube, which they've not been kicked off, but if whoever the main flat earther dude, John Smith, was kicked off of YouTube, what would happen to the rest of the flat earth people?
Right.
They would be more emboldened, like, I knew it.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
So, but to keep them on YouTube allows for other people to make other videos around their videos and heckle them and laugh at them and tell them why they're wrong, or try and convince them how they're wrong, or not. Maybe they still believe it or whatever, but at least they're not put in their own little silo and told to go away and told that, you can't even bring up your ideas because your ideas are so wrong and so hurtful to our way of being, our ego, that we can't even discuss your idea.
And that is, I think, exactly where why.
And I think there are lots of things in this society that we've already done that with. I mean, Keystone Pipeline, that's the touching on it. But like, you talk about climate change or anything like that, no, they'll tell you it's the science is done, right? And you can't even have that discussion.
But that's what's happening. And I guess that's why we wanted to do this today is, wow. That's really all I have to say, because everywhere I look now, it's like, we're expats. We live in Costa Rica. We've been here a very long time. over 20 years now. And, we travel, we get to see other countries and other cultures. We're blessed. We understand that. However, when we go back home.
Hashtag too blessed to stress.
How too blessed to stress. Yeah, we have our own business. Yeah, it's a whole nother conversation. However, too blessed to stress, right? Anyway, what I'm saying is that when I realize our natural way of debating, we've been doing it for so long, and arguing and then getting over it.
Wait, don't tell me you're going to tell people that our way of debating should be adopted by the rest of the world. Wait, is this a strategy?
Kind of. You kind of caught me. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I did not think we were going to go there, man. I did not think that was the end.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to be scared of being who you are around the people who you love and care about because you're what the fuck? I'm sorry. What the fuck?
I think a lot of people feel that way right now. I feel that way around the majority of our friends. Yeah. You have to, you watch. And of course, you don't want to upset people.
Of course not.
But I wonder why we're so tied as a society right now to our ideas that we've locked them into our personal, why am I either, a climate change person or a climate denier? Why do I have to be that? And why is that so important to my being?
Right.
That somebody who sets up or is the opposite of that.
Challenges me.
Literally challenges me, my ego, my way of being. Yes, it makes no sense.
Your person, who you are, right. Everything you believe in.
I mean, god dang, if you're old enough, you know that, shoot, half the time I'm wrong and my ideas are probably going to change over time.
Of course. But I mean, I think that's why I'm really lucky to have you as my husband. Because you challenge me in many ways. And we debate a lot. And we're totally opposites in every way,
Total opposites in every way.
Yes. Yeah, I think.
Opposites in every way.
Okay, exaggeratory.
In every way, always.
No, well, a lot of times.
What's that? What do we say? Sense,
okay, dude. It doesn't make sense. Well, there you go. Perfect example. Agree to disagree. It makes sense in my mind. It doesn't have to make sense in yours. It makes mine. Like we say, when we've met friends over the years, they're like, I don't fight with my spouse or my children. We're like, something's messed up there because everybody argues. And if you're not arguing, there's something wrong with you. So is that the end of our little chat today? Or do you have anything more to say?
Well, we solved that issue. So everybody just follow the McBride method. We're going to write a new book. Should that be the new book we write? The McBride method?
Yeah, McBride method of...
Fight it out.
Fight it out. Hell yeah. Well, and you can mock it all you want, but it works.
The best ideas...
It works. Because you got to be able to grow, and you got to be able to develop, and you got to be able to look at each other and go, gosh, I'm not right today. Or, we always say to each other, what's that? You want to be right or you want to be happy?
I'm going to be right.
And I want to be happy. So there you go.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much. Talk to you later.